everybody. Guess where I am? Da-da-da-da. PTV. That's right, Provincetown Television. Who knew they had their own television station? Well, they do. And I'm going to be on talking to two really terrific people who've started the Provincetown Cooking School. I'm telling you, I am one lucky gal to get to do all these great stories down here. So come along, let's have a Cape conversation. Hi everyone, I am so thrilled to be here today with two terrific Provincetowners. One is a wash ashore and one is not. I'll let you decide which one is which, but I think you'll figure it out pretty fast. I am here with Raina Stephanie, who lives here in Provincetown, and I'm with Patrick Chillemi, and they are a part of the new, I think it's pretty new, isn't it? Brand new Provincetown Cooking School. Oh my God, could I use you. Anyway, so Stephanie and Patrick, how are you? Glad to see you.
Thank you.
And tell me a little bit about this school, Raina.
We're a group of trained and untrained chefs who just trying to build a community. We're having a community project, basically.
Okay.
So we're using the soup kitchen at the Methodist Church.
Oh, cool.
Proceeds go back to the soup kitchen, and trying to bring a little education, some social life, some skill sets to anybody who can join us.
So is it primarily done in the winter time, or is it going to be year round, or are you taking it 6 weeks by 6 weeks?
We're doing the winter at the church and looking for a more permanent place where we could have classes all day long.
Oh, wonderful.
More of a drop-in center.
Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent. And so Patrick.
Yes.
You're a part of this school?
I am part of the school.
And what do you do?
I'm teaching a class called Italian for Beginners.
Really?
Yes.
With a name like Chillemi, you're not doing Irish cooking?
No,
Oh, okay.
there's no Irish cooking. I think that's a myth, Irish cooking. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, probably so.
I think it's based on a dare also, Irish cooking.
Perhaps.
But yeah, I'm doing Italian for Beginners. We, at least with my class, and I think the other chefs too, is we are taking the fear out of using fresh produce and fresh product. And what I mean by product, I mean chicken, fish, pork, veal, beef. That's product. We'd like to educate people, like Raina had mentioned, that you don't have to go to the frozen food section and buy already prepared foods. If you do, you're just loading up on salt, because that's what preserves it. I have nothing against frozen vegetables.
Right.
But as the whole prepared
Sometimes
meal,
they're more cost effective, right?
They are.
Yeah.
They are more cost effective sometimes, depending on the season. But honestly, that's our main goal. Our main goal is to show people, to teach people that you don't have to do that in order to have a wonderful meal.
Oh, that's wonderful. So what you're saying is some of those frozen foods like Marie Callender's, it's not that they're a bad thing, but look what you can make at home, and probably for pennies less.
Oh, much less, yes, definitely. A Marie Callender's, let's say, turkey with mash and mixed veg. You can buy all of that for about $10.
Wow.
You can buy a small
And feed
turkey.
many people.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. More than two.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to, it's an education thing.
That's excellent. So now tell me, you are a trained chef, right? Well, you had a restaurant, I knew that.
I had a restaurant for 18 years.
And what was the restaurant?
Terra Luna.
Oh, yes, everybody
I learned
knows
on the
about
job.
it. Yeah.
I confess. I had no kitchen experience.
Where'd you start out?
At Terra Luna.
I know, but I meant washing dishes,
Oh,
chopping, salads.
I wanted to be
cook.
the hostess for the mostess.
Oh,
it
well,
was
you're,
before
see that.
20 years ago. The Food Network hadn't been
Right.
created. Food magazines weren't popular. The whole food revolution hadn't started yet.
Right.
So it was very hard to find a chef. I quickly found out. So I found myself in the kitchen.
So you started the restaurant.
I started the restaurant,
Oh,
but
my
I thought I
goodness.
could hire chefs, and it just wasn't. Wasn't working
right,
out. So I
right.
found myself working in the kitchen, it's completely informed my entire life.
Right.
Having that experience.
Right.
It's been amazing. So yes, I'm trained, on-the-job training.
Well, that's all right. Nothing wrong with
It's
that.
amazing. And times are different now. It's a very exciting time.
Oh, sure.
You know, Truro, the farms in Truro are really starting to be able to produce again. So we're literally getting local produce.
Oh, that's
This
great.
hasn't happened in, I don't know, 50, 60 years, you know.
Right.
And it's because of this food revolution. And that's why we can start to school now, because there's that kind of interest. People spend a lot of time watching food shows.
Oh, yeah.
But they're still missing, Patrick and I were talking about this earlier, like that hands-on element.
Sure.
Understanding what the chefs are doing on TV, so you can adapt it to your diet or the vegetables that you have access to.
Mm-hmm.
So we feel really jazzed about it.
Yeah, that's great. Now, I need to ask you though, because of the two of them, I said one of you was a wash ashore and one was born here, and you would be an original Cape Codder
I am
in Provincetown?
born, yeah. Well, I mean, I was born in Boston, but raised in
Yeah.
Provincetown. My mother raised in Provincetown. My grandfather,
Oh, my
the
goodness.
Tasha family.
Excellent.
Yes,
Excellent.
Sunny Tasha. My grandmother's a little bit infamous.
Is
in
that
her
right?
Day.
What did she do? Something wild and crazy?
Well, she did. She had 4 children, and the mortgages weren't getting paid, and she put a pair of pants on and started building cottages and renting
Is
them
that
out.
right? Oh,
and
good
got
for
her
her.
driver's license when she was 55, and started to travel, and kind of a pioneer
Yeah, I think so.
for a woman in that generation.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful.
So she's been a great inspiration.
Oh, that's terrific.
Yeah.
That's terrific. Which would lead us to believe that perhaps you're not from here originally?
No, I am not. I am not. I came here in 2001 from New York City,
Yeah?
where I was cooking.
Mm-hmm.
I did regional Italian in New York City. Did not go to school to learn how to cook. I learned
Right.
from my grandmother and my mother and my aunts, who all basically lived on top of each other.
Right.
Um,
In the neighborhood.
In the
right?
neighborhood,
Right.
exactly. And
Does it true you always have spaghetti on Wednesdays or something
No.
like that? Okay. Sundays?
Sunday.
Ah, okay.
So I learned from them, obviously. Second generation Italian, so my grandparents lived directly above us, so I
Oh,
was very
wonderful.
lucky in that sense. And my aunts and my cousins lived basically literally across the street from us. So it was a very small, intimate family of
Yeah.
25.
Yeah.
And so that's how I really...
No squabbles or anything?
No, not at all. I consider myself to be very lucky. So much like Raina, I learned on the job. I started washing pots and pans, and then I kind of took a break from it for a long time, and I got back into it in my early 30s because people kept telling me they enjoyed my food, and so I decided, well, what the heck,
Wow.
let's give it a shot. So I started as a prep, doing prep work. That's where I learned my knife skills, and then from there I became a line cook.
Which is, I know exactly what a line cook is. It's a tough
Okay.
job.
It is a tough job.
So explain for those folks who perhaps don't know that you wash dishes and then you become prep and then you do line. What's a line cook do?
A line cook, kids, is someone who actually cooks your food.
Not that big fancy chef.
No, the
Yeah.
chef is the guy that actually designs the menu
Right.
and makes sure that we know what we're doing. The
Right.
sous chef, after him, is the chef that makes sure that all the plates go out exactly the way they're supposed to,
Right.
and taste the food before it goes out. Not what's on your plate, but in the kitchen as
Right.
we're preparing it. And then you have the line cooks. We are the front line guys. We're the grunts. We're the guys who make your food every single day. Guys and men and women, I should say.
Right.
Who
Used to
make-
be all guys. Long time before.
Long
you were a
time
child.
ago. Actually, the last kitchen I worked in was all men. None of them were trained. None of them went to CIA or
Yeah.
French culinary or anything like that.
Right.
But we could do 475 covers in a day.
Wow. It's hard work too.
It is. It's very hard
And they
work.
never put air conditioning in kitchens. Why? I mean, I
Well,
understand
we
why.
have an
Here,
exhaust.
The big guys do.
Yeah.
We have an exhaust system, but it doesn't really do much.
Yeah.
But and I moved furniture for a living for 10 years.
Is that right?
And it was
Really? I mean,
yeah.
really?
Yes, and
You look like such a weakling.
well, And it was, being a line cook was tougher.
Yeah, oh, I bet.
Yes, it was.
On your feet and
The heat.
movement and the heat, sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
it was,
Well, so you've started this fabulous cooking school. So if I am watching this and I say, hey, I want to go and take a class or do classes, what do you offer?
In terms of classes?
Mhm.
Well, this month we had Italian.
So you do it on a monthly basis?
Well, we're about to do the schedule for the rest of the winter.
I gotcha.
This is our soft opening,
Yeah.
getting a
Okay.
feel for it, seeing what the community's up for and what they
Mhm.
want. Last night we had a fondant class,
Ooh,
totally fun.
yeah.
Tomorrow we're doing French macaroons, and then we move again to braising. Patrick's been doing his Italian class, but a lot of chefs have come out of the woodwork and want to contribute.
Is that right?
So this winter we'll have French and Cuban and Spanish.
vegetarian.
Vegetarian. We're going to bring in some local
Vegan?
chefs.
Well, I don't know about vegan, but definitely
I
vegetarian.
did just speak to a vegan chef.
Oh, yeah?
Hopefully, yep.
Cool.
Cool. Very cool.
We try to offer as much as we can to, for people who show an interest in not just the run-of-the-mill.
Yeah.
We also want to keep it simple and fun, and we would like to, our main goal was to show people, like I said before, is how to use fresh product, but also how to feed somebody, 2 to 4 people, right, for under $30.
Oh, sure.
And it can be done.
Oh, sure it can.
If it was done during the Depression, it could be done now.
Right. So is this primarily for the Provincetown community, or can I live in Orleans and take this class?
Oh, please, yep.
Oh, yes,
We just put
please.
some posters up in Orleans yesterday.
Is that right?
actually, yes.
Yeah.
And Wellfleet and
We're trying
Truro.
to branch out. And
Sure.
Everyone's welcome. Unfortunately, we only have space for 12.
Mm-hmm.
So in one sense, it's we can only fit 12. But on the other side of the coin, it's the class is very intimate.
Mm-hmm.
We supply you with a cutting board, the apron,
Mhm.
and a knife.
it's very hands-on.
Very hands-on.
You're creating the food. You're actually cooking the food.
Yes.
You're doing the prep work. You're at the stove,
And a lot of times.
and you get to eat it afterwards.
A lot of times, my husband, if I cooked, I would be a very thin person. But my husband cooks, and because he's cooked for so many years now, our son is now a chef. So
Oh, great.
Yeah, but what's interesting to me though is how he now, because he's been doing it for so many years, and he's watched forever cooking shows.
They're fun.
Those wonderful cooking shows. So he now can go into the refrigerator and go, I don't know what we want to, and he'll pull stuff out, and boom, it's like some fantastic meal, just like that. It's just, it just amazes me because I look at it and go, okay, well, we can have salad.
That's true.
It's just that.
Yeah, it's true.
Just a salad.
That's part of it.
It's building blocks, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So the more experience you get, and the more you're exposed to,
Mhm.
you can start to apply it, and it really starts to spider out, and then you can look in the fridge and you see possibilities you didn't see before.
Well, the other thing too is having only 12 students. A lot of times you go to these cooking schools and you sit at a desk while the chef cooks.
Mhm.
That's demonstration, and we want
That's
a
we want
demonstration.
to be very hands-on.
Yeah, and that's not the
It needs to be hands-on.
Yeah,
It's a skill, and you only learn the skill by doing.
Right.
Now go back to what you said though about using the kitchen. The kitchen is at the Methodist Church,
Mhm.
That's correct.
and it's what do you do? So how do you give them money back?
We pay the church, and then
Uh-huh.
we make a donation to the soup kitchen,
Oh, I
which
see.
primarily uses the kitchen in the
great.
winter during the day.
Yeah,
So we're lucky because it's fully stocked, and
Yeah.
it's a fabulous space.
yeah.
But we bring in our own, for every class, we bring our own
Mhm.
supplies and our own food and whatnot.
Right.
But Reverend Jim, who heads up the Methodist Church,
Mhm.
couldn't have been nicer. He's
Yeah.
a very sweet man and very generous.
Yeah.
And it's always important to give back.
Oh,
And that's
absolutely.
what we're doing.
That's wonderful.
Not only financially, but we're educating people, like I said before, to show them that you don't have to spend a lot of money to eat well.
Well, you keep, alluding to that and talking about that. For instance, give me an example, without naming names, of the types of folks that have taken the class so far, even though it's been a soft opening. Is it housewives? Is it mothers? Is it guys who've never cooked? Is it
It's a real mix.
guys and their
It's a
partners?
It's
Is
been
it-
a fantastic surprise.
Is that
Yeah, it
right?
has. Actually, it really has.
People we don't know.
Really?
Yes.
And that's been
You thought it'd be all your friends the first go around because they like to be nice?
well, you think in a small town you know everyone.
Yeah.
But you don't.
So in addition to, in most businesses, you start a business, you lose money, and you're tired all the time. That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
Here, we're making friends that we didn't have.
Right.
And we're being social, and it's amazing the positive that's come out of this. So we've just partnered up with Denise, who's doing the Provincetown Fitness Challenge, which starts in January,
Excellent.
to offer a discount to her participants who are trying to get healthy and stay healthy, and part of that is diet.
Right, absolutely.
You know, like,
sure.
You lose weight in the kitchen, you get fit in the gym.
Right.
So that's very exciting. So that's a whole, here's someone I never spoke to, and she's amazing, and she'll have a group of people that I probably don't know, and
Yeah.
How fun.
I think it's a, here in town, especially in Provincetown, it's an artist colony.
Yeah.
So you have artists, painters, obviously, sculptors, writers, performers,
right.
actors. You have all this creativity going on. You have all this great stuff that's going on, but no cooking classes.
I know, which is kind of amazing.
Everyone has to eat.
Right. Well, and it's
Not everyone can paint. Not everyone can sculpt.
Right.
But we're going to make sure at the Provincetown Cooking School that everybody can cook.
Well, to me, it's
Anybody.
it's such a. You looked at me and you pointed at me. When you
Well, I'm sorry,
What does that mean, people? Provincetown is such a melting pot, and from the days of quote unquote Reds, when years, during the Depression or whatever, and how it is quite amazing that they never kind of latched on to food and cooking, because you have fabulous restaurants here too, and wonderful restaurants.
We
here
have a few
with
good restaurants here.
Wonderful chefs.
But we
all
have a
that.
huge, the Portuguese community.
Oh, I know.
And I must say, Portuguese food is just personally off the hook one of my favorites.
Oh yeah.
Besides
delicious.
Chinese food. But
Yeah.
honestly, yes,
Not
Portuguese.
Italian?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
seriously, Portuguese is just absolutely
Yeah, it
fantastic.
is.
And as far as our students is concerned, we had a gentleman here at one of my classes who didn't know he was a blank slate. He
Oh,
didn't-
that must have been fun though.
It was,
so
and he had a
excited.
great
He's so excited to
time.
learn.
He was right. We were just talking about it before. He left that class. By the way, when you do leave, when you take one of our classes, you actually leave with something tangible.
Food?
Sometimes.
Well,
Last night we left with fondant cakes.
Oh, there
You
go.
also
Yeah.
get to eat the food after.
Yeah.
It's not a sit-down full blowout meal, but you get to taste it. But you walk out with a recipe in your hand.
And instructions.
And instructions, obviously, how to cook it. But it's the same meal that you just made.
Yeah.
So, like you were saying before, you could watch the show, the cooking channel, or whatever channel, whatever food network, and you can read the book and read the magazines, but it's not the same as doing it. It's a practical thing.
Sure.
And so $40 for a 90-minute class, hands-on, you get the taste of food afterwards, and then you walk away with the recipe. And they could take any class they want. It's not a set thing.
So I guess which brings me back to my other question. Are you going to do it in terms of 6-week programs, so that you come for 6 weeks, whatever night of the week it is, and then you cover kind of the gamut from slicing and chopping and salad prep to soups to meats to fish to Italian, whatever.
Right.
Is that because some cooking
That's where
schools
we're
are that
heading.
way.
That's where we're heading. We're limited. We have 3 nights, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday from 7 to 9. So it really limits. I would love to do series.
Right.
In the summer, if we get a permanent space, we could do a week-long series or a weekend series or a summer series, and really provide that skills, basics, start to finish. But now we're just peppering it with sort of fun, diverse classes.
Sure.
To keep it interesting and see what's out there.
I was just thinking too, when you were talking about this gentleman who knew nothing and came away and he actually made something, he was so happy.
Yes.
You should get these people on testimonials,
It's
and
true,
that's
it's
great,
true.
No,
Well,
it's true.
they're that happy.
In this day and age now, instead of getting them on camera, we don't have to. We have Facebook.
That's right.
They get on Facebook. I mean,
Right.
personally, I don't own a computer, but they can
Then
get
it'd be hard for you to be on Facebook.
Yes, it's very difficult.
Unless you have an iPhone.
No, I don't have that either. I just have a regular landline. I don't have any of that stuff.
Okay.
But
You're a purist.
yes, I
That's what we
am.
call
I'm
you. That's a good
anti-tech sort of kind of guy.
It's
But
all right. We won't hold it against
he
you.
That's right,
before
that's
he
right.
left, he said he wanted to give some of our classes as Christmas presents.
See, that's what it's
So
all
that's
about.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
really cool.
he'll be on Facebook. Now, that was one gentleman. We had another gentleman who was Italian-American, grew up in an Italian-American household.
Mhm.
But when he took the class, it was amazing for him. He was like, oh my God, I can't believe how
Yeah.
simple this is, or how easy one
Right.
particular thing is.
Right.
He liked it so much, he came back the next night.
Oh, that's great.
And he brought another friend.
Yeah,
And,
that's what it's all
and so, yeah, it's really kind of a social thing.
Well, Ray, where do you see this, 10 years from now?
Well,
I'll
it's-
pretend like I'm interviewing
I'd love to
you.
have a year-round school that just chugged along and
Mhm.
had drop-in classes all day long,
Mhm.
like you would find in the city,
Mhm.
or like a great yoga studio. So you could be
Mhm.
like, you know what, I'm going to go take that cocktail class.
Mhm.
You come to Provincetown, you go to the beach, you shop, you eat, you drink.
Yeah,
You maybe take an art class. I
right.
just want to offer another
Something
activity.
else. Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's a great town for that. Like Patrick said, it is very creative, and people want to learn. And back to something you said, I think people take food for granted. I mean, how was it that I was 22 and starting a restaurant, but I didn't really know how to cook?
Yeah.
My mom's a great cook, but we know what we know and we get by. And I think for all of us, we're like, oh, actually, I'm tired of eating the same 10 things.
Right.
I'd love to learn something new.
Right. Right.
So it's an opportunity for everyone. We can all relate to food.
And do you miss the restaurant biz?
Oh gosh, no.
No.
I miss the energy, and that's why the school I thought would give me some of that.
Mm-hmm.
Diverse crowd, still in the kitchen, I'm still being creative, I'm actually interacting with people instead of slugging
Being
out
on
on
the
the
line.
line. It's really a young person's sport.
Yeah.
It truly is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so.
Well,
hard.
understanding that you're 75, I mean, you don't look that old, so, unless it aged you really quick. It did.
It's just
It's the
the
hours.
recession.
Yeah.
Be honest, the recession's made it harder.
Oh, yeah, it makes it really hard.
Recessions are hard in a good year.
Right, right.
So yes, I do miss it on the one hand, but it had changed by
Yeah.
the time I left.
Oh, sure, sure.
So
Now, and you're in Provincetown.
Mhm.
Would you ever think about taking it to, Provincetown's a great and unique place, as we all know, but would you ever thinking about taking it to Hyannis? The Provincetown Cooking School goes to Hyannis.
there was some talk, because one of our chefs is from Orleans,
Uh-huh.
and he thought, well, maybe he could do some classes in Orleans, and we thought,
Mhm.
well, maybe we could have alternate nights in different towns, and
Yeah. So you're still
Bring it
bugging
to-
that stuff out. You're kind
Exactly.
of figuring out where you're.
exactly.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
great. Good business
So
plan
far,
that
so
way.
good though. We're loving it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's good. Excellent. Well, now, Patrick,
Yes.
you don't own a computer and you don't own a cell phone, and you only
No.
have a landline.
That's correct.
So when you do these classes, you are
Yes.
focused.
Enormously.
And do you tell people to put away their phones, and if you see it out,
He
you're going to
does,
take your
actually.
knife and...
Yeah.
Actually, the first thing I tell
Yes.
people is to wash their hands.
Oh, there you go. That's always
Yeah,
a good thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You tell people to
And
shut
to
their phones off.
shut their phones off.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear, I don't want someone going like this while I'm speaking. See?
Because it will drive you insane, and you could get
It's-
really mad at them.
And I have a knife in my hands.
There we go.
And it's kind of rude.
Yeah, it is
but,
rude. We all know it's rude.
It's rude. It's just flat out rude. I was fortunate enough to do a cooking show for PTV
Mhm.
called Mambo Italiano.
Oh.
And so that really kind of helped.
How long
me-
ago was this?
Up until last year.
Wow.
I did it for 2 seasons. I probably, if I get the energy, I will hopefully be doing it in February. I'm going to try to squeeze in about 6 episodes.
Okay.
And it was the same mission, showing people not to be afraid of fresh product.
Right.
2 to 4 people, under $30. And I'm very proud to say that my show was not edited. So
Well, that's
I did it
great.
in real time.
Yep.
The shortest show I ever did was 22 minutes, and you were there for that one. It was called Yo Musclehead.
Did you bring in chefs?
No. It was all me.
Oh, okay.
I filmed it in my kitchen.
Mhm.
It was a lot of fun.
Great.
And Beth from PTV couldn't have been sweeter and nicer to give me the time and opportunity to do it.
Sure.
And I had a great camera person, Patrizia Dioria,
Mhm.
and she was absolutely wonderful. As a matter of fact, she helped me a great deal because I didn't know anything about camera angles or anything like that, and she really helped a
Sure.
great deal.
Sure.
And so did Beth. I mean, the both of them. Without them, you know, it would have been a
Well, wait a minute,
catastrophe.
why don't you have them come in and do maybe one of your classes so people get a flavor of what
Yeah,
that's
we-
like?
Well, actually,
We're working our way up
we're
to that.
actually
Yeah,
working on that. We're
good,
doing some
good.
tips and tricks.
Excellent.
And we're going to be working that in, and we have a photographer coming in next month in January, and her name's Gail, and she's a very sweet woman, and she's going to be taking some still photos. So when you go to our website, when you go to www.provincetownschool.com, you will see the little
It's
snippets.
a Provincetown school or Provincetown Cooking School?
Provincetown Cooking School, excuse me.
Because
And,
Provincetown School would take you to the school that's not going to be
Probably.
here in a
probably,
while.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But, and, you know, so all these people, again, these are people who live here,
Yeah,
and they,
year-rounders.
year-rounders, yeah,
Yeah.
people here that are in February.
Yeah, God
And-
bless them.
Yeah,
Finances.
well, listen, when no one else is,
Yeah.
this is,
Well, you know, it's funny because I was talking to some folks earlier today, and we were talking about, oh my God, it's so beautiful, and my favorite time of year in Provincetown is fall.
It's the best.
I
It is the
love
best. I
fall
love
in
the
The
fall,
light
yes.
is spectacular.
But I said, what is it like? You know, I said, you go from the beautiful fall to the quiet of the winter, and then, you know, you're wrapped in snow or wind and rain and whatever is going on in January and
That's
February,
true.
and then you have mud season, which is March.
March.
And then it begins, you know, awakening with spring. And then by the time you get to summer, you have all those folks coming down, you know, from the tourists, our visitors, that
Mhm.
all of Cape Cod, and certainly where I live in Sandwich, we are very dependent upon.
Yes.
And we love them in their own way. But they, you know, they're here to look at people who live in Provincetown, and then the Provincetown people are looking at those people going, oh my God, is that what they're wearing? You know,
Yeah.
and they're getting off the buses, and it's like a free-for-all. And I looked at them, I said, how do you deal with that? And he said, we don't, we move out. And we go to Truro in the summertime. Now,
Mhm.
but you guys stay here, right?
We
Oh,
do.
yeah.
You fight the traffic and all
Well,
that stuff.
I wouldn't exactly call it traffic. I mean,
Well, it's not like,
New York City.
no, it's not like New York City.
more
But
like Mayberry.
Commercial Street can get
Commercial
pretty.
Oh, no, no.
You stay away
there's-
from Commercial Street, actually.
Yeah.
You're okay.
Yeah, just, I mean, it's not that hard to figure out. You only have two, commercial,
Yeah.
Bradford.
I know,
Pick one.
right, right.
You don't want traffic, go to Bradford. You
Right.
want traffic and get frustrated, you go to
Right.
commercial.
We're very lucky that way, actually.
Yeah, we
The
really are.
commerce is very condensed.
Yeah.
And mostly we have National Seashore.
Right, which is
Within
wonderful.
2 seconds, you're alone. You're in the
That's
woods,
it.
you're on the dunes, you're on the breakwater.
Right. And you couldn't ask for
Bike
more
path,
beautiful
we really
beaches.
just couldn't
No.
be
I
lucky.
mean,
Actually.
just
Absolutely.
absolutely gorgeous here.
Well, I always think about this because I grew up in the Midwest. And, you know, it was the first thing that Kennedy, when he became president, signed into law was the National Seashore. And people, you know, they talk about the national, it's a place of reverence.
Oh gosh, it's saved us.
Because there would
Oh,
have
yes.
been, it would look like
Atlantic
North
City,
Carolina,
yeah.
in North Carolina. It would
Right.
be condos
Mhm.
and high-rises
Golf
And big
courses
homes
and-
And
that
big
stay
homes.
empty,
9/10 of the year.
thank you.
Yeah, which
Right.
is kind of crazy when you
Yeah.
think about it. It's
I mean,
crazy.
yeah, I
It
mean,
kills communities.
it really does.
Really, yeah.
It does for sure.
Yeah.
So, well, I am going to wish you both the best of success. You're both terrific people.
Thank you so
Patrick,
much for having us.
Raina,
Appreciate it.
thank you so much. You've been terrific. And you out there, whatever you do, come on down to Provincetown, for gosh sakes. Sign up for a cooking class. How fun would that be? You know what? I'm going to pull my husband by the ear, maybe make him take the cooking class, and I'll sit in a bar somewhere and wait for him. I can do that.
Yes, you can.
That you can do.
I can do that. Anyway, thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Didn't you just love Raina and Patrick? Who would think? A Provincetown cooking school, and they're here to help you learn how to cook good food, good for your family, at a reasonable cost. I think that's just wonderful. So anyway, I want to thank you for joining me today. We've had a great time down here in Provincetown. So come along, join me again for a Cape Conversation.